So good afternoon. Some of you have been here a while. Good afternoon. Yay. Thank you. And I do feel a little like we're all wearing choir robes. So, so I'm going to try to focus my comments a little bit on what's happening in the South Bay. So I am the Executive Director of Working Partnerships USA. My name is Cindy Chavez. And I'm also the Executive Officer of the South Bay AFL-CIO Labor Council. I have a really great jobs. Not one, but two, sometimes more. So let me tell you a little story about what's happening in the South Bay. So first of all, we have been, like every place else in the country, fighting this very challenging battle for equity. And what's alarming to me, and I don't know how many of you have lived here most of or all of your life, I never thought this would be a place I had this battle. I didn't think it would be here. I thought it would be Georgia, Alabama, Arizona, but it's San Jose, California, the 10th largest city in the country, the first large city in the nation to be a majority of no single ethnicity, and our mayor is literally dismantling the city before our eyes. So, what are our theories of change and how are we going to do something about it? The first is we have to make sure that we are part of making the rules. It's really not more complicated than that, and a lot of really super smart people with a lot of degrees talked to you today and gave you a bunch of different ways to look at that, but he or she who governs the rules, rules the table, period. And the more and more money and the more and more influence that's happened at all different levels of government, the more that the rules change to make it harder for the masses to survive while a few thrive. So what are we going to do about it? So in our community, what the mayor of San Jose did is he put a ballot initiative on to put into the charter provisions that would cap pensions and benefits. And he did that because he didn't want the San Jose City Council to be influenced by the boogeyman unions. And what's funny about that, I find funny about that, is the average donation that's coming in to fight this campaign for the bad librarians and firefighters and cops and janitors come in at about $25,000 a shot, and almost none of them live in San Jose. So what is this about? It is about power. And what is our response? Well, one is we're going to fight the initiative. Even though 68%, and I'm not kidding you, 68% of our residents think that we need to do something about pensions and are willing to do almost anything. And I could talk to you more about what's happening in San Jose and why I think that's occurring. But we're going to fight back. Why? Because it is about time that we change the tune of what's happening in this community. And the only way to do that is to make sure we're telling our story over and over and over again. And even if the hill is high and sharp, that we're trudging up it. And even if we can't run up it, because the only way to change public opinion is to do what we've always done, which is organize. Now let me tell you something exciting and hopeful. In the fall of last year, a sociology class of about 7 students with a professor named Scott Myers-Lipton sat with us and said, my students want to change the world, and they're looking through a series of things that they'd like to work on, and we'd like you to help. And I, like all of us in this kind of work, get about 1,000 people a week coming in and saying, I've got this great idea, now go make it happen. So my response always is this, which is, what are you going to do? Because I think unless we start challenging each other and ourselves to make the change, we're just going to be, this room will get smaller and smaller and smaller, and we're not going to add any new people. So here's what's exciting. So these students said, we want to increase the minimum wage in San Jose because our student tuition is going up, and the minimum wage isn't. And we want you to help us. And I said, okay, crazy. No. What I want you to do is go raise money and do a poll. Poll comes back. We had to help them with it, but they did a lot of it. Poll comes back. 72% of the people in San Jose believe that the minimum wage is too low, and they want to increase it to a living wage. And they like the language of living wage. So the students, along with the help of the labor movement, I went to my board and I said, hey, we've got these young people. They want to change the world. They want money. Took 10 minutes for them to donate almost a third of our treasury to this effort. And to your point, most of these unions will never see any benefit from it. They understand that people who live, work, and play in our region deserve to thrive like everybody else, right? We collected 35,000 signatures, and we turned them in a month early, right? Come on, guys, yeah. This is so exciting. This is great. And now we're going to fight to make sure it gets on the ballot because the mayor and a bunch of other people are playing a lot of dirty tricks to keep it from getting on. Here's my point. My point is that I thought it was interesting to hear one of the most popular economists probably in the world say blah, 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 blah about the economy. And the thing I heard him say at the end is go organize, right? Go make it happen. Go make the change. Go have the conversations. And so what we're doing is exactly that. And this has engaged a group of young people that had never been involved in politics, along with a labor group of young people called Next Gen that are so excited about this that their ranks have grown. And the students, in a really short amount of time, along with these young workers, leaders, collected about 7,000 of these signatures. So I think there's a lot of hope, but I think the hope comes in only two forms. Don't be afraid to fight and get into positions of power, because he or she who makes the rules the game. That's one. And two is not to be afraid to engage new constituencies and new bases. Because for us, the college students aren't a base that we've had a lot of relationship with, but I think that this opportunity is going to excite young people more than any other time of any other work that we've been doing. And I just want to give a couple of statistics that I think are really important. And I didn't know all of this, so you do, because you're a smarty pants that does this stuff. But let me tell you what I learned. What I learned is that I really believed that a lot of people who were going to benefit from an increase in the minimum wage were going to be teenagers, as everybody does. A majority of people are going to be over the age of 20. And that if at the current wage, and I'll tell you what we're moving it from to 2, that might have been helpful. At $8 an hour, you make, $16,000 a year. And our recommendation is to move it from $8 to $10 an hour. In our polling, we asked this question. I thought this was so fascinating. What do you think about us phasing it in for small businesses and nonprofits? We lost 15 points in the poll. They don't want it phased in. People know that something's wrong, right? Second thing we asked was, what do you think if we moved it to the real wage it should, not your $22 an hour, but we looked at what it costs to live and raise your family in San Jose, and it was $16 an hour, and people screamed at us. So we're not going to do that. But we are going to make this move because, as you know, for every single dollar that gets into someone's hands who's at that wage level, it creates $2,800 in economic activity, because at that low income level, people aren't saving that money. They're doing what with it? Exactly. So we are about two things. One, making an equitable, prosperous society. And two, and I think this is really critical, is changing the rules so that that prosperity can thrive, whether it's for manufacturing, and I'm so pleased that the California Federation of Labor is taking a leadership role on this, because I tell you one thing, that if we don't fix the lack of manufacturing in this country over the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to lose our economic engine forever. I absolutely believe that. And what's ironic is I gave a speech the other day about manufacturing. This guy walked up to me and he said, why does the labor movement care about this? You know, I thought you guys were anti-business. And I said, well, see, the people we represent work for businesses, so we're for them. So anyway, so what I also think that means is we've got to talk to non-traditional partners, right? We've got to be willing to get out of our comfort zone. Anyway, it was really exciting to be with all of you today, and you guys should be like, I don't know if you ever went to a Giants game in the old stadium when it was raining and you got a button if you stayed through the 13th inning. You guys should get that button, so thanks.